On this special episode of Sound Advice, live from the SoundCloud office in New York City, we catch up with California-based R&B artist Joyce Wrice. Joyce talks to us about her creative journey, finding her sound, and collaborating with the likes of Freddie Gibbs, D'Mile, and Sir. Plus, we get some exclusive info on her upcoming second album. Stay tuned. Joyce Wrice is coming up, right here on Sound Advice. You're tuned into Sound Advice, powered by Xfinity. We're live from New York City. I'm Vivian Host, and I'm here with R&B singer Joyce Wrice. Joyce, how's it going today?
Hi, Vivian. It's going fabulous. Anytime I get to be in New York, I'm happy. So, yeah, it feels good. Excited to chat with you and talk about all the exciting things I have going on.
One of the things is I hear tell that you are working on a new record.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Like, what is this new era of Joyce ushering in?
Yes. So I'm working on my second album. Very close to being done. It's taken me a couple of years, but it feels like my most honest work. And it just, I feel like it's a rebirth. And less, not that I've ever intentionally been filtered, but, just being more unapologetic and more deeply connected to myself and who I am, what I want to say, and how I want to connect with people on a deeper level. So it's gonna be worth the wait. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's super exciting. You've already been dropping a couple singles here and there. I wondered if you could talk a little bit about being in the studio for this second record and what were some super magic or fun moments that you've had so far.
Yes. I've made over 100 songs for this project in like the span of 3.5, almost 4 years. And it's been so cool to be able to get in with different types of writers, producers, and even engineers, and just really play and experiment and try new things. I've been playing with different sounds, different productions, and over time I feel like it was important for me to hone in on like one direction at a certain point so that everything could be cohesive. But I did my first writing camp last July, and it was about 3.5 days, and it was just really fun. We got a house in the Hollywood Hills, and there were about 5 rooms going on, and I had some of my favorite producers and songwriters there. And, all day we just got to play. I had like a little deck made with me and my creative director, and from there was just so much, I guess, like finally some direction and some cohesiveness happening. And so that was really, really fun. Writing camps can be a bit tricky, but this was so organic. And my first, actually all 3 singles, unless something changes, they're all from this writing camp. So I'm really excited and just really happy that this process has been so much fun and a learning experience, and I just feel like I've grown so much and I'm able to move forward, just feeling more sure of myself.
You've collaborated with so many people by now, like Katy, Freddie Gibbs, producers like Mndsgn 95 and D'Mile. What can you share about what you think helps make a magic collaboration in the studio, or what you like to have prepared when you're coming into a session?
What I've learned is sometimes it can be intimidating and like kind of nerve-wracking just going into a session and working with someone for the first time. You don't know them, and you don't know how you're gonna vibe. But thankfully for me, when I first moved to LA, I already kind of threw myself in to collaboration. And I guess it was just like this curiosity of, ooh, like, cool, like we get to create and see what comes out of this. But I feel like it's important to not put so much pressure. Like in the beginning of sessions, it's a lot of talking. how are you doing? What have you been listening to? Play me something that, like you made or whatever you're comfortable with, what production, it's a lot of, for me, getting to know each other because I feel like I like to be really personable. So that has helped me make it less intimidating. But sometimes we make stuff in the beginning and we don't, and then we come back in the next day. But I've had the fortune to make friends online and go into the studio and just organically come up with music. It's never forced. It's never like, I think too, being an independent artist, it's never the label like forcing me to do something or because I'm signed with someone else, that's why we can make this happen. I'm genuinely friends with a lot of people. Even with Freddie Gibbs, like I initially had a song on one, and it didn't work out with the featured artist that I wanted at the time who created a whole verse. And then I had just DM'd Freddie Gibbs and he was like, I'm so down, send it to me. I pulled up on him at his studio and he laid the verse down so quickly. And then we did the video at the mall. Like it was just so organic and seamless. So I think, just having, if you can have great music, good quality music, and, it's you're going to get rejected here and there, but just being persistent and reaching out to people and being outside and showing face and building connections. And it's okay if it's even just on a friendship level, but just really, just showing up and keep going. So, yes.
And having the guts to DM Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah, having the courage. I looked back, there's this producer, DK the Punisher, who I believe did Folded with Kehlani. But I DM'd him many years ago and was like, hey, I'm a nerd. I look up credits. And I'm like, wow, I love this song. Who's the producer? I don't know if I was even in LA yet. And I was like, hey, I would love to work with you. And he was like, sure. Pull up to the studio. I work with Andre Harris, who's a legendary producer. And he was like, I also work with this writer by the name of Sir. So we all got in and we made some of the songs on my first EP. And thankfully we clicked so well. Like we just clicked music-wise and energy-wise.
You're originally from San Diego and you moved to LA. And I know that was a little bit of getting your career fully off the ground there. What were some of the things that looking back, you feel like are milestones, or what were some of the important things that you did or hustles that you had or side hustles that you had that kind of helped you get where you are today?
Yes. So I moved to LA from Chula Vista, San Diego. I initially wanted to work with kids, so I went to a liberal arts school to figure my way out because I grew up in an environment where doing arts as a living was impossible. While I was in college, I was putting out covers and I started to build a fan base, and people really encouraged me to move to LA and really see what doing music could be like. And I met Mndsgn through a friend at the time, and he was really making moves on SoundCloud. And so we started collaborating on music, and that resulted in my first EP, Stay Around, which I also debuted on SoundCloud. And that brought in so many more new fans, and Stone's Throw community just really poured into me, and that allowed me to go on my first tour in Europe and Australia and New Zealand. So that just like opened the doors for me. So I ended up moving to LA by myself, and my parents were like, girl, you're crazy. But I was like, let's just try it, I grew up kind of sheltered. I'm an only child. So I went to LA with no car. I was renting a room from a mutual friend, and I just started taking odd jobs. I was gift wrapping, hosting, taking the train, the metro, and the bus. It's nothing like New York. It's like 3 hours one way and back. But at the time, I think for me, it was just so nice to do what I wanted to do, even if it wasn't the most favorable circumstances. It was just nice to really go after what my heart was desiring. And thankfully, my childhood best friend, Jasmine Collier, moved to LA too, and she started managing me, and things really started moving. And putting out my own music, my EP Stay Around, I put that out on SoundCloud, and it really made noise, as well as some stuff I did with Kay Franklin. And then I was able to go on my first tour, and it just validated me, I guess. And it just felt so true to what my purpose is. So it was very hard. So many times I wanted to give up, but I was like, no, I'm going to regret this. So I just stayed the course. And thankfully, being connected with D'Mile, I feel like I found my voice, my sound, and what worked for me. And COVID happened, and we had to quarantine, and it obviously forced me to not be at my restaurant job anymore. And then just things started moving, and I got to put out my debut album, Overgrown, and I quit my job, and I signed with WME Agency, and I was able to start doing festivals, and I opened for Lucky Day, and that brought a whole new audience in for me. And now I'm here working on this second album and having an EP out with a lot of songs produced by Katy. It's been really great. But I think just really staying the course and knowing that it's not always going to be smooth sailing, but just listening to that calling and really doing whatever it takes to steer that ship too, and always have that vision as clear as possible so your team can help you stay in that direction.
How do you like to use SoundCloud, and what role do you feel like it's played in your career?
Yes. It's so crazy, like, thinking about that. I make music at home, very just like simple. I love finding production online. There's so many incredible people on SoundCloud posting ideas and things like that. So, I'll just freestyle and do some gibberish and start piecing everything together. And I did covers on SoundCloud as well, remixes of songs that I love from the 90s. And I even did some stuff with this producer I also found on SoundCloud, Jamma D, which turned into a kind of a remix cover. And that was my first time putting out an a cappella. And to this day, there's like so many remixes of this song. Some of them have more love than the original record. And so to me, that's really cool. And people from all over the world have remixed it or showed love. And I was able to create vinyl with that, and just really, again, like, make a name for myself. So I feel so indebted to SoundCloud, because it's really, again, allowed me to tell my story as authentic as possible. When I'm creating, I'm just expressing myself. I didn't know that it was gonna get me to where I am. So it's been really, really lovely.
How does connectivity and being online fuel your creativity or your growth as an artist?
That it's honestly, that's what fueled me to continue doing what I'm doing, and it really brought me to where I am today. I started creating, in my home, in my bedroom, and having access to producers and beat makers online on SoundCloud. They inspired me to want to express myself over the music that they made that moved me. And so it's like, if it wasn't for them, I don't know what what kind of music or how I would be doing what I'm doing. I could naturally go at my pace and my flow, at whether it's freestyling an idea or wanting to talk about something that was just on my mind or stuck with me. It was just easy for me to do that because I had that accessibility and that outlet. So it was everything.
Taking it back to the early days, how did you go about finding your voice as a singer?
I grew up around parents who love soul music. My mom introduced me to Luther Vandross and Minnie Riperton. And my dad, so many artists, Brandy, Tamia, 112, different stuff, jazz, reggae. So I gravitated towards it, and I just wanted to emulate all my favorite artists as perfectly as possible. And I guess subconsciously I was developing my voice and finding my voice. That was my palette, and through that I built, I guess, ear training. And then it wasn't until I was, I think, maybe like high school, I would collaborate with my friend Ariel, and we would do covers with the ukulele. And we would cover songs from artists who are from LA, independent artists, and it would be like hip hop, R&B songs mostly. And I would start taking beats from SoundCloud and writing, love songs, this, that, heartbreak, this and that. And then I was thinking, maybe I should go to LA and start working with people. So I would go to LA while I was in school and work with producers like Polyester the Saint. And I met Dom Kennedy through that experience, Iman Omari, Ricky Bricks from THC, who does a lot with so many incredible people. And so at the time, it was I was like, why do I like how I sound on these covers, but I don't like how my voice is sounding? So I really struggled with that for a few years, where I wasn't finding this rhythm with my original music. And then again, I started working with Sir and Mndsgn, and I was starting to hear everything feel more natural. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm going somewhere with this. So then I would start to seek out production that I love. And I even worked with Tiffany Goucher, who's also incredible. And through there, I started finding my sound. I think just like more sultry, warm, organic sounds. And even I like gritty hip hop production, but still lush and sweet melodies and just textures over it. And then, of course, when I worked with D'Mile, that's when I'm like, wow, the live instrumentation element just really complements my voice. So it took so much time and so much just unlearning and relearning, taking voice lessons, and just really playing and asking for feedback, even though it's like, I don't want them to hear this, and then people telling you, yeah, no, this is not it. And then you just got to go back. So it was just a lot of soul searching. So what helped me find my voice too was posting original ideas and my covers and my remixes, and even that EP I did with Sir. I didn't know if people were going to like it, but I felt this could be cool and maybe it'll connect with someone. So when you see those comments and those likes, it's just very, very, very encouraging, and it just kind of tells you, okay, keep going, keep trying new things. So that was very helpful, very, very helpful too.
What other lessons did you learn in the making of your debut, Overgrown, or even in the making of this new record that you can share with somebody who's working on an album for the first time?
Yes. Oh, take your time. Take your time. And I think really, really, work with people where it feels safe. And what I mean by safe is it's a judgment-free zone. There's room for play and childlike spirit, and to really trust yourself and know you're so capable. And yes, we don't have all the answers, but listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, and really try to always create space to have that clear mindset to tap into that. And yeah, play it for your friends or people you trust, because I do think feedback is always helpful and great. And just have fun, enjoy the process and really appreciate the process and that journey. Everyone's putting something out every single second. So it could feel like there's a lot of pressure, or you're missing your time or your slot. But even though momentum is so important, I still think just trusting your timing and being honest with yourself.
What role does technology play in bringing your creativity to life?
Oh, it plays a huge role. I mean, like I said, I started off on my laptop recording myself and finding production on SoundCloud and really just experimenting and playing and putting myself out there. And through that's where I found my rhythm. That's where I found my sound, and that's where I really reassured myself that this is what I love to do, and I'm not that bad at it. So it means it's everything. And I really do try to balance it out. I love stripped down jam sessions, and I really love being as minimal as possible. So I love that I have that option, and it's really fun to go back and forth and play with different ways of creativity.
Yeah, I saw you on socials doing heels choreo, which was so cute.
Thank you.
So very excited to see that in the new shows.
Yes. The amount of training I'm doing, when you film yourself, y'all are not seeing how many takes it took to get the actual part. Live, oh my gosh, I gotta be ready for whatever happens. But, obviously muscle memory allows you to feel like, okay, I got this. So I'm going to build up to it. But I'm so excited. I've been training in heels choreography. And I work with this choreographer, McGee. And there is a style, it's called heels choreography. And they say if you can dance in a pump, you can dance in anything. So that's what I'm training in. And I can't wait to start choreographing to my next single and the single after that. And then just, choreograph to more of my older songs. We're tossing the sneakers. We're in pumps, heels now. So that's going to be really, really cool to see my evolution.
That must have been fun too, to work with a Japanese choreographer.
Yes.
And I know that you're part Japanese and you've spent so much time in Japan as well. What influence does Japanese music or Japanese culture have on you or your artistry?
Yeah. So I grew up going to Japan once a year with my mom, and I have family in Kansai, and they're from Hyogoken, and they live in a very small countryside town of Japan. It's rice fields, and it's just they call it inaka, it's country. And so it was majority Japanese people all the time. So whenever I would visit, I always looked different, and people were just and then they would be surprised when I would speak Japanese. But it was just so much fun being able to switch up my environment and learn more about my Japanese culture. I love singing in Japanese. I love artists like Crystal K, who is also Black and Asian, and I grew up listening to her music, and she also did choreography, and it was just really cool seeing myself in her. So I started working on music in Japanese. I have a song with Umi, my fellow Black and Japanese sister. We have a song called That's On You, which is on Overgrown, my debut album as well. And then we currently wrote a song I have with Mndsgn and Kaba and Trey John Marie. And it's a super fun, like up-tempo, just like feel-good record that also is majority in Japanese. And I'm titling it Honto no Watashi. And that means like my real self, my true self. And the English title is Another Side. But it's really fun, you know, to play and bring in your heritage. It's super soulful and it has crazy runs because Mndsgn is vocal genius. And I think, yeah, I really hope that it could be an anthem for everyone who just wants to say, like, forget y'all, I'm going to be who I am. And I think for people who sometimes struggle with identity, it's the perfect song.
So can't wait to see what happens with this new album and also the new tour and the choreo and everything else. What creative possibilities are you excited to explore next with your music and your artistry?
Yes, it's so exciting to be able to start thinking about those things as I've been wrapping up this album. Like I said, I can't wait to go on tour and bring this album to life and even hopefully record like live versions of it with the band and really just kind of play with it now that there's one side to the songs, you know? I think that's really fun. And doing a deluxe and seeing what other things I can add on, whether it didn't make the album or whether it's new things that come from releasing this album. I want to collaborate with more exciting artists and producers and write more music in Japanese and hopefully go out there and collaborate with Japanese artists. I would love to revive J-pop.
So you mentioned that you made 100 or more songs
Right.
in the process of making the second album. What are some styles or things that may be on the cutting room floor for now, but that we might see from you in the future, or some sort of dream genres or vibes that we haven't seen yet, but you would like to explore?
Ooh. So being just like a soul music lover, definitely like the jazz. I think what Destin Conrad has been doing with jazz music has been really cool. I also love, there's a Japanese style of soul music called enka that I think could be really cool. It's not opera, but it's a very beautiful, just deeply soulful style of singing that I would love to try and explore. And I'm literally so open. I'm so open. I just want to play with whatever feels right for me and what feels good. Thankfully, I would say that my voice is pretty versatile, and even the reason why there's 100+ songs for this album is because I was just like, I like that, play that. But then my team is like, okay, but that doesn't really go with it. You know, I could just be all over, which I think is really cool. So I look forward to surprising myself and surprising everyone else and just trying anything and everything.
Well, Joyce, we can't wait to hear all the new music and see what you've got coming up next. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sound Advice, powered by Xfinity.
Thank you for having me, Vivian.